In this video, I want to go over the shortest word problem on Codewars, and what the description states is, given a string of words, return the length of the shortest word. A string will never be empty and do not need to account for different types of data types. Now, the first thing we're going to do if we zoom in is we're going to convert this string into a list of words. And the reason being is when we're going to need to iterate over this list or over this string, and we don't want each element to be a character. We want each element to be a word. And the reason being is it's much easier to find the length of a word than the length of a word when each element is a character, if that makes sense. So we're just going to create a variable called list, and we're going to set that equal to s.split. What this does is the delimiter for each element is white space, whatever we specify in here. By default, it will be white space. And we can print this, so we'll just print list, and then we're going to below it print s. So we're just going to do s plus s, and this will show you what it'll actually, the difference between the two. So s, or the string that passes us over here, is Bitcoin taking over the world, maybe, who knows, perhaps. Okay, well, if we iterate through this, the first element would be b, the second element would be I, the third will be t. However, with the split, the first element is Bitcoin, delimiter, white space, second element, take, and it's much easier to just be like, okay, what's the length of Bitcoin? Is it the shortest so far? If it is, add it, you know what I mean? So that is why we're doing that, in case you were confused. Next, we need to create a length variable, and this variable is going to keep track of the shortest word so far. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say length is equal to float infinity, and what this is basically saying is this length variable is the biggest possible value that it can be, infinity. And the reason being is because you'll see in this for loop, I'll explain it to you when we get there. So next we're going to iterate through our list of words, and we're just going to say for word in our list. So for word in our list, we need to check to see if the length of word is smaller than the length. Okay, so we're just going to say if the length of word is less than length, if that is the case, well then length is going to be equal to the length of our word. Now what this is doing, if you don't already know, this is infinity. So the very first word will always be less than our length up here. So what that means is this condition will be met. Length will be set to the length of the first word, which is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just say 7. I don't know if I counted that right. But we'll just say length is now 7. When we get to the second word, we're just going to see if the length of take is less than 7. Well, it is. So length is now equal to the length of 7. And by the time we iterate throughout this entire list, what will happen is we will have found the smallest word, and length variable will be the variable that holds the length of that word. So at the end of this, all we have to do is return length. If we test it, it should work. 6 passed, and if we attempt it, all 46 passed. So that is the shortest word problem on Codewars 7KYU. I hope that you found this helpful and you learned something. If you did, I would appreciate if you liked, commented, and subscribed, and I will see you guys in future tutorials.